Hi again, ladies and gentlemen. We are continuing with our fish lantern project. As you can see, I've taken a little bit more time with that same piece, and I added the other fin. Now he's got two, yay! I went on ahead and added some structural supports for his dorsal fin here, and I've modified his tail to make it pretty because it's so cute. Okay, I also added more ribs in here, and I additionally added in all of the tape needed to kind of stop all of those pointy bits. Remember, this is not meant to be covered in tape. The goal for the masking tape, because it's just paper with adhesive on it, the goal for the masking tape is actually to help, one, stop all those pokey, sharp bits, because we're about to skin this thing with tissue paper, and two, it just kind of helps hold it in place a little bit more. It doesn't, if you do this right, you're twisting these tightly enough, it shouldn't need the support per se, but this just kind of helps it so where it doesn't wiggle so much. So this dude is actually pretty solid, and I've continued to manipulate him until he was smooth and how I wanted him to be. I've double checked all of my angles and seen how he's looked all around. Why? Because we're in 3D art, which means we're going to look at it in all three dimensions: width, height, and depth. Okay? So make sure that you take that time, make sure you are completely ready, make sure you have all of your little pokey bits sealed up, and when you're ready, we're going to go from there. Now what you're going to need for this next point, I'm going to put him off to the side just a little bit. See how cute he is even from the top? He's so cute. I'm going to put him off to the side. What you're going to need for this next bit is you're going to need some white tissue paper. We are starting with white. You have access to a whole bunch of different colors. After we have the base coat, this is such a big freaking sheet of paper too, by the way, guys, just chill. Once you have your base coat with the white, you can go with whatever colors you want. You can cut scale shapes out. You can do whatever type of decorating you want on this. This is basically just to give you the base layer, okay? And you're going to need glue. Glue, non-branded glue, totally generic, yes, Now, most of you guys, if we look at this sheet of tissue paper, one at a time, do not be grabbing a whole bunch of tissue paper. This sheet of tissue paper is plenty big enough. You should not need more than one sheet. So make sure that we're being neat, make sure we're being careful. It's fragile, so if I crumple it up, you're going to see it. So what we're going to do first, though, is we're going to take these scissors. Yes, I know they're scissors. Don't correct me. I don't care. And we are going to cut this page in half. Why? Because wrapping that whole thing at once is just going to create a hot mess and not be all pretty, and we want it to be pretty. So we're going to cut this down just to kind of reduce how much we have in front of us at a time. Put that off to the side. And we're going to have this big old piece of tissue paper. And what we're going to do is we're going to go section by section, piece by piece, and glue little pieces of tissue paper on here. Start from the outside edge, cut your way in so that you're not wasting material. Obviously, it doesn't have to be exact, but I mean, I can look at this, for example, and I can go, this particular shape right here is about the size of my hand. So if I cut something a little bit bigger than my hand, down here in the corner, almost. If I have something roughly the size of my hand down here in the corner, I can just cut that out. Yes, I want excess. I want a little bit of extra material. Try not to go too overboard, and we're not trying to match it perfectly. I am simply trying to make it easier to work within a space. So here's my fish, and here's my paper. Does it fit? Yes, it does. And is there excess? Yes, there is. Now, ultimately, we're going to try to get rid of most of this extra material, but we're going to need it to kind of grip on there. So what you're going to do, I'm turning this to make it easier to work with. What you're going to do is you're going to take your glue, make sure it's not sealed on the top. If you need help unclogging the glue, for the love of all things, come ask me. Don't be sticking things in the end of the glue. Don't be taking scissors and trying to cut off the end of it. Just stop, okay? We're going to put a very thin bead of glue. I'm going to put a little bit more on the masking tape because it'll hold it. It's paper, so it'll actually grab this a little bit better. And we're going to put a little line all the way around my wires, just like this. Go all the way around. You put a little bit extra where you've got it twined up. Not much. Guys, look, it's not dripping off, right? So please use dexterity and caution. Don't go overboard. We don't want it to be soaked because this white glue is wet. And if you put it on tissue paper, well, it's going to start kind of dissolving. Now I'm using my finger to kind of rub that in a little bit more to get around the wire because we are actually going to be wrapping this a little bit. The glue is non-toxic. It's not going to hurt you. Chill out. It rubs right off. Oh my gosh, I have glue on my... Rub it off. Honestly. And then we're going to take this and we are going to patiently... Do you guys notice how I am not trying to rush this? Patiently push that down onto the wires that you have the glue on. Okay? Adjust. Make sure it is a little bit tight. You don't want to pull it so tight that you're tearing it. You don't want to try to create all these wrinkles, but you want it to contact. Now at this stage, you're going to cut into the corners. Okay? Any corners and edges that you need to. If you have extra spaces, or actually I probably should have cut right there. Cut where that wire is. Cut right here at this corner. I'm going to cut right in there. Yoink! And right in here. You can do multiple cuts, guys. Nobody's judging. The reason we're doing this is to create ways. Oops, I should probably cut right here too. And down the middle of that. Obviously, you can adjust as you go. But you're creating ways to fold the paper around. Okay? So that you can take that paper and go back underneath. Oh no, it pulled. See, this is why we're patient. We don't want to rush. So I'm going to adjust that back down. Layer that back in, go around my wire. I'm pressing it into my wire. Okay? And I'm working this slowly. I'm not worried about too many wrinkles. This is just the base coat. There are steps later on that will help adjust and make it cleaner. Okay? You may have to make additional cuts as you go. That's fine. This is a learning process. And all of these creatures that you guys are making, like I need one here. All of these creatures you guys are making are different. Y'all are not making the same critter, okay? So, and that's fine. So you just adjust as you go, but you need to wrap it all the way around. Once you have it wrapped, you can try twisting. If you want the action, this is what I'm doing with my fingers. So I'm coming, it's like playing those tiny little violins when you guys whine too much. You're gonna twist it around the wire just a little bit to pull it a little bit tighter, but you have to be gentle. You have to go slow. If you try to rush this, you're going to tear that paper, and we're just all going to stare at you like, dude, you were told. Okay? Now, looking at this, obviously I've got scraps that are big. Don't go too crazy while the glue is wet, y'all, okay? Because if you cut off too much, the glue is not going to hold it, and you're going to have a different problem. But I'm old, and I can do this. All right? So on the inside, it's a mess. That is a hot mess. It looks nice here, which is good because this is ultimately what we want, but on the inside it's a bit messy, which is fine. As it dries or when you feel like you have enough control over it, you're just going to take the time and slowly snip off the really big bits. Don't throw these away because you would be surprised how often you could use stuff like this, but just patiently, you'll be amazed how many times I say patiently. Patiently cut off the really big chunks, okay? Patiently. See, I said it again. Patiently. Because you're going to end up with a little bit of fray on the edge. That's 100% okay. Ultimately, as we go, that's going to get taken care of. All right? Patiently. I'm going to say it again. You ready? I'm going to say it all dramatic. You have to patiently slow down, okay? Patiently. If I repeat it enough, maybe you guys will get it through your head. We'll see. But, you know, take your time. Cut the big chunks out. It's okay. In fact, it's useful to have a little bit of chunk left in here, all right, because it's going to need places to grip. You are going to repeat those steps for every section. You can actually take, like right here, see how this is coming up a little bit? I'm going to take just a dot of glue on my thumb. Those of you who take my glue and make a whole bunch of freaking fish skin, no fish skin. Take a little bit of glue, put it on like your thumb or some other finger, whatever you need to get into that spot, and just kind of pet that in there. This is the actual action that I'm taking. Because this tissue paper dissolves when it gets a little bit wet, one, you want to be cautious about how much you rub it, how much you actually push that in there. Okay? But it will absorb the glue and it'll soak to the underside of it, which is exactly what we want. All right, so any places where you have spots where you feel like it needs to be a little bit more secure, just a little dot of glue, like right down in here, and just kind of painterly push that on there. Painterly. It's like a painter. Painted. Okay? So that's one section. Obviously, I have a lot more. It didn't take me a whole lot of time. Most of that time was spent talking, let's be really honest. But you're going to do this for every single section. You're going to get it to the point where you are all cleaned up. Once the entire fish is coated with this, you can have access to the color paper so that you can start adding additional details. I'm going to continue working on this, and you guys will see it in class. Other than that, y'all have a lot to do. Let's get going.